Bill Norris, Control Data, and Norb Berg, both by their values and what they did, told people in the less privileged areas of the state that they had a place, that they had a stake in the outcome of things. Norb has been so important to so many people, and he did it all in such a diffident and not self-important way. Very atypical of what one would expect of a corporate leader. I mean, he was just very straight out, very spontaneous, and very trustworthy. He was always fun to be with. He always had a twinkle in his eye.
I'm not sure it really hits him in terms of how much he and Mr. Norris did for this community. Most people don't understand how deep of what he did was. He was such a busy man, but he would take time to come over, and people in the community felt very close to him. These people knew him personally.
For all of the activities that have gone out of control, data in the administrative human resources functions that were new and are still considered new in the marketplace today are due to him. Innovative, taking an idea, implementing with our employees, then recognizing that what we could do is make that into something that we could sell to third parties.
It was his baby. It was a significant program for Control Data. So significant that when we launched the program, it was included in the Congressional Register because it was unusual. Their industrial child care, which is now very commonplace, that it was new. Stay Well was another one of his programs that he put in place. Now again, it's commonplace to encourage employees to take care of themselves, to have exercise facilities on site. He was just way, way ahead of his time. And I think the positive influence of Norb and Mr. Norris is the fact that almost all of these programs still exist.
When I got elected mayor, people told me that the most important position for me was my human resource director. Your problems are going to be people problems. And so it's fascinating that somebody who cared so much about people was put in charge of caring about people. I saw him and knew him from the business side because it impacted my community, and Control Data was important to my community. But then I also got a chance to see him on the personal side as a friend. He's so good with people. You know, my son's trip to his deer farm, you know, it's just a gentle way in which he deals with people. With all God's creatures, Norb has a gentle touch. He really does.
We've been all the way from Costa Rica to the high Arctic, fishing trips and hunting trips, and he's a great sportsman. You know, he's a great conservationist. So yes, we've enjoyed a lot of time together.
He can go into a small town bar and be loud and we don't get kicked out. Whereas if I tried that, we probably would.
Norm came to my rescue and he said, well, I've got Control Data had a place with some property down on the Minnesota River bottoms that was private hunting. Norm said, you can come down there and hunt. That was a lifesaver. Get up at 5, be down there at 6, hunt till 7:30, quarter to 8, be back in the office and do my work. It justified me keeping a dog, keeping my guns, taking my kids hunting. So that's how Norb came into my life by offering me that opportunity.
What everybody in Minnesota can realize when they go and buy something, they're paying a little more sales tax since 2008. And that driving that whole land legacy amendment that was ultimately put before the voters Norb played an important role there. He's positive, he's encouraging, and he sees in other people their goodwill and their good side.
In the organization, whether you were Bill Norris or you were down in the mailroom, you didn't see a different Norb Berg.
He encouraged people and encouraged you to kind of push the envelope. Even if you thought you couldn't do something, he would say, yes, you can.
When we made a handshake, whether it was at the Lexington or in the mayor's office or in Norb's office, that handshake was as good as gold. That's what trust is.
He's just a guy who's been very influential to a lot of different people, especially people who are disadvantaged, people who don't have money.
He's not a friend, he's a special friend, and there aren't many special friends in your life. Norb qualifies for that.
I feel as hundreds and maybe thousands of St. Paul people feel about control data, and particularly Norb Berg. And that is, if you say the name, usually a smile will come with it, because that's what he conveyed, a sense that we can do this and we can do it together. It was quite wonderful.
Find out what your boss wants and do it. And I've always remembered that. I don't always do it. I wish I could adhere to that. But it's a great goal, and Norb obviously did it, and many times over is deserving of the recognition.
He might say, well, we had a lot of good people. You can have good people, but you need good leadership. And he exemplified good leadership.
Congratulations on putting in place programs that made a huge difference in people's lives, including mine.
What happened between 1970 and 1990, 89, will never happen in America again.
Norb can look back with great satisfaction on what he's accomplished, not only in his personal life, but in the lives of people he has affected. Everybody here tonight has something to do with Norb, and they can probably tell you stories about how he has insightfully done something, not for any other reason, just because he's a good guy.
When I say that I love you, I really mean that I love you for all that you've done for my community. You've been a good shepherd. You are a great man. You have done so much, and I'm honored to be your friend, and I'm honored to be able to say that to you tonight. And my only regret is I'm not there to give you a big hug.